There is a body part
Oh, God,
in
man.
this bag.
You don't think he killed her, dude?
Mr. Goodwin, I have no idea.
This is the exact moment when the father of 38-year-old Aaron Goodwin broke down and realized that his own son could be the killer of his wife, Connie Goodwin.
A gentleman has called 911 and he has told the operator that there is a black trash bag in his truck. And whenever he opened this truck, there was blood inside the bag.
It smells like real blood. I hit. I don't think so.
No, I'm sure I was like,
She got a black eye and everything. And it smells like real blood.
But then, another horrific call uncovered a layer of dark mystery no one had anticipated, leaving even the seasoned officers with unanswered questions.
911, do you need fire, police, or medical?
I'm sorry, any police?
Okay, what's going on?
It looks like we found a corpse.
Okay.
By all intents and purposes, it does appear that it is your wife.
On October 29, 2020, Adam Webb went grocery shopping at Walmart in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Garland County, thinking it would be an ordinary day. But what he discovered later would haunt him forever. As he approached the back of his truck after his shopping, he noticed an eerie bag tucked away in the trunk. Assuming it was just another instance of someone tossing trash into his vehicle, he decided to investigate. However, when he looked into the suspicious bag, he was taken aback by the sight in front of him. Inside was another bag containing mysterious clothing and bloodstains. The sight sent chills down his spine, and realizing the gravity of his shocking discovery, Adam immediately called the police, fearing the worst. When the police arrived, they began examining the bag, and what they uncovered was one of the most horrific sights they'd ever see.
They don't know where this came from? Yeah, you're right.
okay,
Come on.
It was Halloween Eve, and such pranks, though distasteful, were possible. But the officers' initial thoughts were quickly quashed. The content inside the bag was not that simple and innocent. Instead, it sent a wave of dread through them, a reality they couldn't ignore.
It's a head. A woman's head.
All right, let's make sure. Let's go ahead and let's get her parked over there. Let's go ahead.
Okay, he needs
Who
out.
looked in?
Huh?
Who looked in?
Both of us. She just got it.
Is it a real head or?
Oh yeah, no, it's real.
I'm not sure it's Halloween
Looks like
or
a
not.
woman. Oh, it looks like a woman's head. I don't think so.
no, I'm sure I was like,
She got a black eye and everything. And it smells like real blood.
Inside the bag was a human head, specifically that of a woman. Who could have done something so horrible? Soon the police would find a monster disguised as a man. As they began scouring the area, a sense of urgency filled the air. It was then that they stumbled upon an item that they suspected could be crucial to unraveling the mystery of her death and the dark secrets of the place where it had occurred.
Hold up. Hold off on that one. See what I see?
There, yeah.
Go around this. Also, go back around and come it this way.
okay.
Look what's in that car. They're saying it didn't happen here, but does that not look like could be something on that?
The officers reviewed the Walmart surveillance footage to find out if the bag had been in the truck when it arrived or if it had been placed there later. They also searched for any evidence that might have been thrown away in the shopping cart. Unfortunately, the cloth revealed no new clues, and the footage confirmed that the bag had been in the truck from the moment Adam, the truck's driver, arrived at the Walmart. This unsettling discovery left them with more questions than answers. As the gravity of the situation sank in, the officers faced the grim reality of what they'd uncovered. They had the head of a deceased woman and the man who owned the truck where it was found. With these findings, Adam became their prime person of interest, weighed down by a heavy burden of explanation. But the officers kept their demeanor calm, masking their true intentions as they prepared to dig deeper into his story.
You just were putting the first in there and saw the bag?
Yeah, I saw the bag. I said, oh, somebody's thrown trash back here or something. So I opened the first one to see if it was garbage, and then I saw some red and what looked like some socks or something.
Okay. Yeah, so you want to have a seat?
Yeah,
Let me go deal with them real quick. Actually, I'm going to get this out of your way.
Thank you.
You're not in trouble, like I said.
All right.
If you need anything, just holler at me, okay?
Appreciate it.
Without wasting any more time, the officers took Adam into the interrogation room and began questioning him. They started by asking about his routine that day, hoping he might reveal the missing pieces of this perplexing puzzle.
So where all have you been today?
Today?
Yes, sir.
Just to Walmart.
Okay, so you left from your house and went to Walmart, and then tell me what happened when you got to Walmart.
I got there around noon or so, had a short grocery list, just a couple of things, milk, flour, eggs. Wife's doing some baking. Came back out to the truck. I noticed something in the back and looked a little weird, so opened it up. I saw what looked like blood, and I backed away and called 911.
Okay. You didn't see what was in the bag?
No.
Okay.
I saw there was another bag, and it looked like there was some red liquid all over it and maybe some socks or something.
Okay.
And that was all I saw.
Although Adam recounted his usual routine, detailing the ordinary tasks of his day, when asked about anything unusual from the night before, he recalled an alarming detail. This seemingly innocent observation transformed into a potential piece of the dark puzzle as they realized that Adam's revelation could be the key to unraveling this horrifying mystery hidden beneath the surface.
Have you noticed anything unusual last night and heard any noises? Anybody strange in the neighborhood, vehicles, anything like that?
No. I have seen a guy walking down the street, older gentleman with a backpack a couple of times, and I don't know where he's going to, but
okay.
I see him walking up and down Malvern, and then I walk down our street, so I don't know if he just walks everywhere or what, but I don't know him.
Would there be anywhere on your street that maybe somebody has a homeless camp? Like, is there any woods or anything right around their house or anything like that?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
We walk our dog up and down the street all the time, and there's only one vacant lot, which is kind of at the end of Spencer on the right. But like I said, the house next door to me hadn't had anybody living in it in years, but there have been contractors in there for months now.
Adam claimed that he had no involvement in this mysterious murder, and his statements appeared credible when the identity of the murdered woman was revealed. She was identified as 63-year-old Connie J. Goodwin, a dedicated mother and teacher whose life was tragically cut short. Residing in Deerfield, Missouri, which was about 300 miles from where her head was discovered, Connie was a beloved figure and deeply devoted to her 6 children, whom she nurtured with unwavering love and care. For years, she taught in Minnesota, Kansas, and Missouri, sharing her passion for education alongside her hobbies of quilting, sewing, and gardening. But on October 29th, when she failed to report for a job as a health insurance adjuster, it worried her close ones. Concerned for her well-being, a coworker attempted to check on her. Upon finding her house locked, she called the police for assistance. What they discovered inside was nothing short of horrifying movie scenes. Connie's lifeless body lay in the bathtub, her head missing. As the grim truth unraveled, John, Connie's husband of 45 years, was plunged into despair upon learning of his wife's mysterious death. But the cops were about to find another shocking twist in this investigation. It was revealed that their 38-year-old son, Aaron Goodwin, who had arrived at Hot Springs on the same day with his father, had also vanished without a trace. They left their house around 1 p.m. and reached Hot Springs around 8 p.m. As evening fell, Aaron had sorted through his gear and assured his father he'd be in the room shortly. However, when an hour passed without any sign of him, John's unease grew. When he went to check on Aaron, he discovered that his son and all his belongings were gone. Fearing the worst, John filed a missing persons report for Aaron, who had been acting increasingly withdrawn and troubled. Living in a trailer next to his family's home, Aaron had recently dropped out of his job at the Eagles Club as a bartender in Missouri and had arrived in Hot Springs to find some clarity. Compounding the situation, when the police tried to reach John for questioning, he didn't answer his phone and remained unresponsive, raising unsettling questions about his role in the mysterious disappearance of his son and wife's murder.
Goodwin here. Leave a message.
This is Officer Chris Chapin of the Hot Springs Police Department. I'm trying to give you a call in reference to your son being missing. I will give you approximately 5 to 7 minutes after this call is ended, and I will call back on a block number. Please answer. Again, this is Officer Chris Chapin with the Hot Springs Police Department. Thank you.
Once the officers finally managed to reach John, they brought him in for questioning, fully aware of the dark cloud of doubt hanging over him. As the tension in the room mounted, the officers opened the interrogation by probing into Aaron's mental state.
Does he have any mental diagnoses?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Not really, but I mean, you can tell when someone's not thinking right. Saying off the wall stuff, like about God and stuff even, it's like.
John claimed that the trip to Hot Springs had been fully planned by Aaron. He was supposed to stay in Hot Springs for 3 days while John was going to head back home after dropping him there. However, John found himself in a troubling situation as Aaron's sudden disappearance added a heavy weight to his already shattered world. The anguish of losing his wife left John visibly distraught. He struggled to manage even the simplest daily tasks. Each moment felt suffocating as he grappled with the overwhelming grief.
So, I've been trying to piece this day together, obviously. I don't know, I'm waiting, I was so messed up, I called my brother to come and drive me home. My brother and sister-in-law, and they're on their way. I didn't think I could drive. When I found out, I couldn't have. I did okay now.
Okay, so you're saying that someone found your wife's coworker found her.
That's correct.
Dead in the tub?
Yeah, she did. She didn't clock in, and they got worried.
And when did you receive this information?
This morning, after I'd called here a little while, maybe hour or so later.
So after you reported your son missing, you found out that your wife was deceased?
Yeah.
While recounting their journey to Hot Springs, he swung between despair and an unsettling calm, expressing two completely opposite feelings that left the officers questioning his sincerity. Each word seemed to carry the weight of grief, but beneath it lay hints of something darker. This emotional volatility deepened the mystery surrounding both his wife's death and Aaron's disappearance.
When y'all left, you and Aaron left your house yesterday between 12 and 1.
Yeah.
Did y'all come straight to Hot Springs?
Correct, yeah. We came down 49 to 71 to here. 71 like a snake.
Yes, it is. So y'all went straight to the hotel, checked in somewhere around 8 o'clock last night.
I'd say so, yeah.
John exhibited some unusual emotions for a man grappling with the loss of his wife and the mystery of his missing son. Yet, as the officers probed deeper into Aaron's disappearance, he began to unravel hidden secrets that cast a shadow over the case. In a shocking turn, he revealed a crucial piece of evidence that could change everything. Information he'd kept silent until now.
And you've tried calling him, right?
Yeah.
And is it going straight to his voicemail, or is it ringing a few times before it goes to a voicemail, or?
It rang a few times. Then I text.
Do you know what kind of phone he has?
Matter of fact, I didn't tell you that. I have his phone because somebody brought it to the desk this morning. I got this text. I don't have it on me, but I got this text from him this morning, or from his phone. This said, found this phone in the bed of my truck in Hot Springs. Not sure why it's in the bed of my truck, but I'm leaving it at the front desk of the Doubletree Inn in Hot Springs. I said, okay, thanks.
And that was today?
Yes, this morning. I didn't think to grab that thing. Shit, I should have did that. So I was wondering about him. So whoever it was returned his phone. Would it be on their surveillance?
Maybe.
What if it was him?
Maybe.
Why would he be there at that time in the morning? See, after I didn't see him.
And you said there were messages about condolences
from his friend, one of his friends.
About?
Just the one, about his mom. That came later in the day. He probably saw it on Facebook or something.
Okay.
My assumption.
Was that posted on Facebook?
I don't know. Or somebody may have told him.
Do you know what happened?
John then explained why he wasn't immediately alarmed when his wife didn't answer his calls until he received the dreadful call.
And because I called her, no answer. What the heck? Well, she has, I call them seizures. They don't diagnose her as that. They call them, the doctors actually call them spells because they can't figure out what's wrong with her. And she'll have to lay down a day or two.
So that's when you called your brother and sister-in-law?
Correct. Well, I didn't know what was wrong yet.
Right.
So they get up to my house, and the co-worker gets there, and then all about the same time they call 911, and then the law came in and opened it up, the door, because it was locked.
John had been clinging to the hope that his wife's silence was just another attack of her illness, unaware that it would be a violent act that would rip her from his life forever. As he recounted the plans he and his son had for their stay in Hot Springs, an unsettling revelation slipped from his lips that set off alarm bells for the officers.
Intending on staying here for 3 days?
No, I was going to just go back to work.
Okay.
This morning.
But was Aaron planning on staying here for 3 days? Because the reservation was for 3 days, right?
That was his plan.
Okay.
Because I said, if we're going to do this, you've got to have a plan. I'm not just chasing my tail now. And that was his plan. He told me.
Okay. Do you know what all he had in his backpack?
I have no idea.
Change of clothes, food?
Sure he had clothes.
Okay.
It wasn't a real big backpack. He did have a black plastic bag too, though. Come to think of it. Like a trash bag.
Okay.
It's not in the truck or anything. So that's gone. So he might have had stuff in there. Well, I'm sure he did. He threw it in the back when we left. It was raining. I just assumed he's keeping it dry.
It's important to note that at the time of this interview, only the police officers and the truck driver knew about Connie's head being discovered in a black trash bag. John's calm demeanor suggested he had no knowledge of this horrifying detail. As officers struggled to process this chilling information and fit this jigsaw piece into the puzzle, John made another shocking revelation that elevated Aaron as a person of interest, sending jolts through the room and leaving everyone even more on edge.
So everyone left, and I was leaving. Here's where it gets weird. As I was leaving, I said, "Are you ready?" I said goodbye to Connie, kiss and all that. I locked the door behind me. He said, "I need you to go to Walmart," which is in Fort Scott. Here's Fort Scott. Here's my house. I said, I need you to get me a pair of black gloves, dress gloves, leather if you can. Well, they don't have no such thing.
Black dress leather gloves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I said, why don't we get them on the way? Why backtrack? He said, would you do it for me? He said, I gotta have prayer. I need a little time. Okay. I went there. That was about maybe 15-minute drive.
He didn't go with you?
No, he stayed there.
Okay.
He stayed there. That was the whole deal. He said he wanted to have prayer for a while. Would I go get these gloves? I said, well, just wait. No, I really need you to do this. So I went to look for them. I didn't find any, but I did buy a couple items from Walmart. And I noticed on my receipt, I checked out at 12:32. Because I was trying to put all these times together.
Okay.
Today,
mm-hmm.
When I finally got myself together, I got to thinking about this is weird. Okay? So I come home, and here's my driveway, here's the road, and there he is at the end of the driveway. Well, I thought that was weird. I stopped, and he threw the plastic bag in there. He already had his backpack in there, I think, and hopped in, and I said, already said bye to Mom. I guess I'm ready. I just wanted to get down here before dark because I can't see very well, driving in the dark and the rain together. And I didn't know if it was raining or not. That's it. Then we left.
Did you tell him that you couldn't find the gloves? Or?
Right. I said we'd have to go to JCPenney's or something like that. That's what the lady at the store suggested. Because I said, is there a men's clothing store around? No, no Fort Scott.
Didn't say what he wanted
black dress, leather gloves for?
He'd been just all black all lately. Black clothes, for the most part. No, he didn't say why. I wondered that too. Where you got it? I don't know what you're doing.
And he's at his trailer when he asked you to do this?
Okay, here's the trailer sets here, my driveway's here. He was right just at the end of the driveway. I just drove, and the road is here, so I just stopped. I found that strange. But not really, I guess, because he was wanting to get going,
Right. But when he asked you to go get the gloves, where was he at?
He was right here. Here's my door. Here's his trailer. He was right about here, because the truck was pulled in here.
Okay.
And I'm ready to go.
Right.
Because it's going to get dark, And I didn't go back in the house. Because I knew she was working anyway, and we'd already said goodbye. She thought I was gone. She didn't know about this little deal, about running around chasing my tail.
Okay. So when you said goodbye to Connie, she thought you were
gone.
Yeah, and then afterwards you say Aaron
wanted me to go do this errand. Well, he said he had a prayer. He said, I gotta have prayer before we go.
Okay.
One final time. That'll give me time. I'm not understanding that, but...
Amid the conversations during the interrogation, John began to scrutinize his son's actions, something he hadn't done before. With these unsettling realizations came a terrifying reality check, leaving him feeling utterly helpless in the face of the unfolding nightmare. The terrifying thoughts crossed his mind about his own son.
You don't think he killed her, do you?
Mr. Goodwin, I have no idea.
That's what after I got to thinking, I'm like, oh my God. I don't either. But that's why I did a kind of went back in my mind as best I could and looked at texts and phone calls and those receipts to try to put a time on it.
What's your feeling?
I think he might. I think he might have.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think I'm leaving nothing out. If I think it's something, I will. I don't know. It's just been acting so crazy. I don't want to believe that. It's all the times I'm thinking about what happened, who was there, who wasn't. I don't know that he went back in there. Why would he send me on a wild goose chase?
As John began to doubt Aaron, the officers sought to revisit the harrowing day of October 28, 2020, when they both arrived in Hot Springs through John. They urged him to recount every small detail about the last time he saw his son.
Okay.
I believe I did.
So back up. You pull into the parking lot at Doubletree.
Mm-hmm.
Go from there.
I went right inside.
You went inside.
Yes.
Okay. And register, checked in.
Mm-hmm. Went to the bathroom. Went to the elevator, but I didn't go up. So I realized I didn't give him a key.
Okay.
Went back out that door. I think we came out of.
The side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not the main one, but that one little single door.
I believe it was. Yeah. I believe I went out that way.
Okay.
That was it.
And you go back out the truck, and Johnny is, or excuse me,
That's
Aaron is at the truck.
Yeah, when I brought him his key card.
Okay.
Yeah. Then he went into the bathroom. I think maybe I stayed out there. Yeah. Then he came back out and started going through stuff.
How long would you say you're outside?
10 minutes maybe. Talking to him, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. And he was just going through a bag.
Milling around, yeah.
What was he doing in this bag?
I don't know.
You didn't see him?
Mm.
But you were out there for 10 to 15 minutes?
Probably.
And you didn't see anything that he was doing?
I was standing there talking to him.
By all accounts, John's statements seemed to implicate Aaron, but the officers were just about to uncover crucial information that would point the suspicion right back at John, leaving the investigators puzzled. The details he provided were clearly contradictory to what the officers discovered later, raising even more suspicion.
I'm not accusing you of anything.
Right.
I'm trying to find out what happened with Aaron, where Aaron is. Okay? But like I said, the video that we watched from out at the Doubletree is showing us something that contradict what you told us in here just a little bit ago. Okay? So think back, if you would.
Sure.
And tell us again what happened.
We pulled in there. I went in and registered. I started to go upstairs. And I didn't know how to work the elevator with the key. And then I remembered I didn't give him his key.
Okay.
So I came back out, gave him his key, like I said, everything else. He was going through gear. I stood there and talked a minute. And like I said, he kind of hinted around that he'd be up later.
Okay.
So I went on up, I settled in, was there a while, hour or so. And when I came back down, he was gone. That's what I remember.
When investigators scrutinized the hotel footage, they caught sight of John's truck pulling into the parking lot at approximately 7:43 p.m. He made his way to the lobby to check in and then headed to the elevator, just as he described. But a shocking discrepancy soon emerged. The footage revealed that John entered and exited the building far more frequently than he disclosed. Alarmingly, he even used the elevator, directly contradicting his earlier claims and raising unsettling questions about his true actions that night. Now, the officers found themselves with two prime suspects in Connie's murder, the very two people who were meant to protect her, her own son and her husband. As John meticulously scrutinized all the information, he expressed his growing skepticism about his son's involvement in his wife's tragic death. Yet, as the investigation unfolded, the officers couldn't shake the unsettling feeling that the truth lay buried beneath the tangled web of family loyalty and betrayal. The chilling possibility that the people closest to Connie might be the ones who had harmed her loomed ever larger.
Surely he didn't kill his mom when I was gone.
Why do you say that?
Because of the time.
Okay.
Because of all the time. That's why I started putting all that time together.
Okay. Do you think that he could have done that?
I don't think he could have, but I don't know.
Okay,
Okay, I say that because when I was gone, he would have been the only one there. I don't know, but I don't know why she died, you understand?
Sure.
I gotta know that first.
The officers now pressed John for details about the day they left Connie alone at home, and Aaron had insisted his father buy a pair of gloves from Walmart, all while he'd chosen to stay behind with his mother.
He said that he needed to do some praying.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
He's told you about his praying and speaking with the Lord and that in the past. Okay.
Yeah.
As the officers grappled with their dilemma over Connie's true killer, John dropped another bombshell. He discovered a note on the morning of October 29th, 2020, when his wife's head was found in the truck. This revelation sent a jolt through the room, offering a glimmer of hope to clarify the murky waters of the case and potentially unearth vital clues that could reveal the actual killer.
With that information, knowing that, any conversation on your way down here?
There was a note.
There was a note.
I forgot about that. It's in my cup holder. It said something like, I thought I was doing God's will.
And this note?
That's all it said.
And you found that when?
This morning. Yeah, but I stuck it in my cup holder.
Where was it when you found it?
It was on my console, top of my console.
Okay. And it says?
And it was on top of the room key. And I just stuck it in my cup holder, but then I got to thinking about that.
And it said what again?
I believed I was doing God's will, but I didn't know what that meant, so it didn't make sense to me.
That's the whole content of the note?
That's it.
As the interrogation came to an end, the investigators steeled themselves to deliver the heartbreaking news to John about his wife's death and the state of her body. Until that moment, he'd only known that she was gone, unaware of the devastating truth that she'd been decapitated. When the officers revealed this tragic detail, he broke down, struggling to comprehend the horror that had befallen him.
I'm going to be a little graphic with you. Okay. We get a call today that a gentleman has called 911, and he has told the operator that there is a black trash bag in his truck, in the bell of his truck. He's never seen it before, and whenever he opened this truck, there was blood inside the bag that had come out.
There was blood in the bag?
Yes, sir.
Lots of blood? I mean, from what? I mean...
Also,
I'd like to know that.
There.
Yeah.
There is...
How bad was she?
There is...
How bad was she?
There is a body part
Oh, God, man.
in this bag.
What was it, her?
And it, by all intents and purposes, it does appear that it is your wife.
With the shocking information gained from John against Aaron and his emotions upon knowing his wife's state, somewhat made the picture clear for the investigators. They felt they were one step closer to the truth, pointing directly at Connie's own son, Aaron. Further investigation provided chilling evidence when they uncovered the hotel's CCTV footage from the night before Connie's head was discovered. In the footage, Aaron was seen walking away from John's truck, carrying a trash bag in the hotel parking lot, the very bag suspected of containing his mother's head. He wandered aimlessly for a moment before discreetly placing the bag into the back of Adam's truck, trying to implicate a man entirely innocent in this horrific saga. Aaron then vanished into the darkness, leaving behind everyone in a state of agony. Upon discovering this footage, the investigators realized that Aaron posed a potential threat to society, especially given his access to weapons and his dangerously unstable mental state. But Aaron was nowhere to be found. However, after 5 agonizing months of searching, the case took a stunning twist. On March 6, 2021, the officers received an urgent call from a local family on the outskirts of Hot Springs who reported something unsettling on their sprawling 40-acre property. As they arrived, they braced themselves for what they might uncover, only to find that the surprises awaiting them were far more shocking than they could ever have anticipated.
So how did you guys find this? I mean, I know you were looking at timber, but I mean, how did y'all end up in here?
I wanted to clear the inside, see if I could find a homeless encampment.
Ah, so you saw this like a little bit of clear cut, and so you started hiking. I got you.
Okay. Yeah, really, I don't know that this is in your way, but okay. You want to explore it?
That's gonna be. Yeah. I guarantee you. Let me see your gloves. The rest of the body's there.
Yeah, see how it's sticking out on that
feet.
Oh.
It's the jacket. Oh yeah, you see the insect activity?
Oh yeah.
In the area of 833 Central.
Watch out! What?
Right
here.
Male has jeans, a jean jacket. Appears to be extremely intoxicated.
All right.
Walking back and forth in the crosswalk.
Yeah, they could have just died right here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Here.
An animal just got into them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The body discovered in the woods was identified as Aaron Goodwin, and authorities speculated it might have been an attempt to unalive himself, deepening the mystery surrounding Connie's death. With Aaron dead, the exact reason behind his mother's murder remains shrouded in mystery. As of 2024, law enforcement are still looking for answers. One prevailing theory suggests that Aaron was in the midst of a psychotic episode, convinced he was acting for the greater good. This claim was further substantiated with a voicemail for John that was found after Aaron's death, in which he'd expressed deeply unsettling and alarming thoughts to his parents.
Got to get out of there. Do not be home on Halloween. I'm serious. John, you got to renounce Emmanuel as the Savior and go back to Jesus. I'm not shitting you. The aliens are coming.
This audio was enough to raise alarms for Aaron's parents, but for unknown reasons, they decided to ignore it, and for which they had to pay the price later. The tragic outcome underscored the devastating impact of Aaron's mental illness. It culminated in the heartbreaking reality that he took his own mother's life, leaving a trail of sorrow for everyone around him. John, Connie's husband, was left to face this unbearable situation alone. He was forced to grieve not only for his beloved wife, but also for the remorse of knowing that his own son was the killer. As if this wasn't enough, just a few months later, Aaron ended his life with his own hands. The weight of grief and guilt became too much for John to bear. He was left haunted by the loss of his wife and the shocking truth about his son. The pain was overwhelming, and the loneliness of his sorrow echoed in every corner of their once happy home. With this, we ask you, what do you think about Connie's murder? Why would Aaron have killed his own mother? Was it due to a psychotic episode or something else? Do you think Aaron has been framed and actually the killer was someone else?